Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Of course, this had to be done, didn't it? We've done nearly every Primarch bar Rogal Dorn, so we have to approach this, and we have to look at, where is Rogal Dorn? Is he going to return in this new 8th edition storyline? So let's jump in, and let's get started. Now, there has been some debate about Rogal Dorn's so-called, air quotes, death. Now, in the old lore, this was published in the Space Marine novel. I think that was published in 1993. And I think it was republished in the 2000s. I think it was 2008, 9 or 10, something like that. And what it said in that book was that Rogal Dorn's body was taken back, and it was fully encased in amber upon the phalanx. But the new lore now states differently. The premise of his death is still the same. Dorn charged valiantly into the head of a Black Crusade fleet, vastly outnumbered. He did this because he was saving time for the rest of the Imperial forces to gather strength at yada yada yada. He boarded the ship, and this is when he was so-called brought down by thousands of cultists, space marines, everything like that, all stabbing him and taking him away. But when his reinforcements arrived, there was no body for Rogal Dorn. All they found was a fist. And this is where we are in the new lore now, where that fist is encased in amber upon the phalanx. And each new chapter master of the Imperial Fist, so each person who becomes a new chapter master of the Imperial Fist, goes and scrimshaws their name upon Dorn's bony fist, as they say. Now, you know me, I am not convinced. Dorn lives in my heart. Dorn is alive and he is somewhere. And this is what we're going to discuss today in the video. But I think we have to look at it from two different viewpoints. We have to look at it from a lore standpoint, and we have to look at it from a business standpoint from GW. So let's take a look at it from the business standpoint first. So the Horus Heresy has been a huge success. The book series, the model series, all the character series, everything like that, all the Primarch models, and it's sold fantastically well. It's made so much profit, so much money for Forge World and GW. Now, what I think is that GW has seen this success, and they've basically want a bit of the pie. And the way they're doing that is they're doing with the whole 8th edition. They brought Rebooty back, they've brought Magnus back, they brought Mortarion back in the demon forms and stuff like that. And of course, they've got to bring more Primarchs back. It is inevitable that more Primarchs will return to the new 8th edition / 40k setting. It comes down to one thing, and that is sales. Primarchs sell well. And like I said, GW want a piece of this pie, and they want to try and ride this cash wagon all the way into the sunset. Now, I know some people dislike the idea of Primarch returning to 8th edition. I can understand your viewpoints. Of course, I'm going to disagree with you till I'm blue in the face, because I completely love Primarchs. Everything about Primarchs. I love all the Demon Primarchs. I love all the Loyalist Primarchs. I love Primarch battles. I love Primarchs commanding the Imperium as it is now. All that kind of stuff I'm completely in love with. I absolutely adore all the Primarchs returning into this new setting. Now, what we've been seeing over the past couple of years is that obviously the Primarchs have been returning, but this has been planned, I think, long ago. GW doesn't plan something like 6 months ago and then they bring it out, you know, just then. They are in years and years worth of planning out stuff and then bringing it out at a certain stage when they're happy with it. Now, I think they have been planning to bring the Primarchs back for, you know, 3-4 years at least. And what we've been seeing is that to prepare for this, we've been seeing some of the Primarchs who we thought were dead, not dead, and kind of in the missing area, kind of disappeared area. And for a perfect example of this is Rogal Dorn. His old lore was that he was encased in amber. His full skeleton was encased in amber. Now, the old Sentinels of Terror book, which was released in 7th edition, that states again that his fist was found, and that was encased in amber. This leaves the door open for another Primarch to return. This could be put towards stuff like Russ, Korax, Chagatai Khan in the Warp. All these Primarchs which we thought were maybe probably died or, you know, just lost or something. It kind of keeps a door open for these now to return, and then GW would say, hey, look, another Primarch returned, and it really fits in with the lore. And this leads us into how Rogal Dorn could possibly return, if he could return, let's say, if he could return into the new 8th edition lore. So how could it be possible? I think the first thing we have to do is address is, what happened to Rogal Dorn on that ship? Okay, maybe he lost a hand, but does that mean he truly died? If he did die, then surely the Chaos would have taunted the Imperium on his death. They would have took his body back, they would have decapitated him. Even if they would have held him prisoner or something like that, surely there would have been chaos propaganda out there taunting the Imperium or the Imperial Fist, or, you know, the successors of the Imperial Fist, saying, hey, look, we've got your daddy Dorn here, you know, we've took him, we've killed him, ha ha ha, we are the best, you guys suck. None of that happened from Chaos, so this leads me to believe that Rogal Dorn is still alive somewhere in the present day lore. So if Chaos don't have Rogal Dorn and the Imperium only found his hand, it leaves us with the question is, what in the Emperor's name has happened to Rogal Dorn? Where is it? Dorn's not one of these Primarchs who would run off into the warp. His duty to the Imperium is sacred. He would stand unto death. He would be there at all times through the worst and the best of the Imperium. Now, this leads me into the theory, which I've started to follow, and I'm more or less convinced this is the only logical conclusion to where Dorn is, and that it is the Necrons that have taken Dorn. And a certain Necron called Trazyn the Infinite, I'm sure it's pronounced Trazyn, I'm just going to go with Trazyn the Infinite. And he's known for being a collector of some of the most rarest, some of the most priceless artifacts and stuff in the 40k setting. Now, we already know that Trazyn actually owns a Primarch already. From the novel Clone Lord, we know that he has a perfect clone of Fulgrim in his collection, gifted to him by Fabius Bile for some of the Emperor's, some of the Emperor's Legion gene seed, which he previously collected. Now, if we just put aside Fulgrim for a second, in his collection, he has a huge golden figure in stasis. Now, you can easily argue that this could be a custodian, and again, I could probably agree with you. There's arguments out there that this is actually Valdor that's in his collection, because Valdor has gone missing as well. He actually went missing after the Siege of Terror. He just vanished. He didn't hand his armor in or anything like that. So you could argue that that character that he has in that collection is Valdor or just another custodian. But I'm going with Dorn because when you look at the story as a whole and you look at all the facts which basically happened around that battle, Dorn's just disappeared. And this is the only logical conclusion we can come to about Dorn returning into the 40k setting. I don't know how they would possibly do it. If it was me writing it, I'd probably do something like, chaos is spreading, it's getting worse and worse. Trajan has seen this, and the only way really to counter it is just to get these beings of Primarchs back into the galaxy. So he releases Dorn back to the Imperium, then Dorn takes command, and him and Guilliman then can possibly start leading, you know, bigger and better crusades, because they're both tactically brilliant at what they do. Just imagine it, just for a second, Rogal Dorn returning. He activates the Last War Protocol again. He brings it back. He's like, no, Guilliman, I'm sorry. This needs to happen. Activate Last War Protocol. All the Imperial Fist successors all meet. They form back into that glorious legion like they did like back in the War of the Beast. And they just go out. They just go out in full-on crusade purge mode. They're like say like a legion of Templars, just all mad, just going out, just carving their way across the galaxy for vengeance and just to bring the Emperor's light back to those who have turned their backs on it. It'd be an absolute glorious time. Now, I have heard inklings of rumours, but again, everything has to be taken with a pinch of salt, bucket of salt, spades of salt, dumpsters full of salt, as I say. Just take as much salt as you can. I've heard that Rogal Dorn is supposed to be returning to the Primarch series in the 40k. Of course, he's just returning 30k. His model is amazing. I can't wait to pre-order it off Forge World. But I think if you look at it from a story-wise standpoint, I think there's more Primarchs at this current stage in the setting where it's all just kicking off kind of now, which would be more justified for coming back. Jagatai Khan 1 coming out the webway. We do know in the lore that there's white scars that have gone into the webway now looking for Jagatai Khan. So that is a really big factor, maybe him returning. And of course, the Lion. The Lion is the big honcho of being the favourite for the next Primarch to come back. Luthor's escaped the Rock. The Fallen are gathering in Legion-sized strength, so they're ready to make their move. So it would be best if the Lion's come back. And of course, we all know the Lion. We all know his personality. Imagine him coming back in the 40k setting, how hilarious and how fun it would be for for him to witness the Imperium as it is now. He didn't really like it back in the day, so now I think it would send him overboard. It'd be absolutely glorious. Alright chaps, thank you for watching. That's me done for another video. Of course I want Rogal Dorn to come back, but I think they need to explain where he's been for the last 10,000 years. Please don't say he's been hiding in a Centurion suit underneath the palace guarding the Emperor. I have had enough of those comments. I get so many on my videos. He's not hiding in a Centurion suit guarding the Emperor, chaps, okay? He's got to be somewhere. I'm going with Trajan. He's got him locked up in stasis. But of course, I could be wrong. You can have a better theory. Post it below. I'd love to see it. And I'd love to respond and have a chat to you about it as well. Of course, let's all keep it nice in the comment section. Let's have some fun about this. And yeah, thank you for watching. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Thanks, chaps, and bye-bye.